You're looking at a live view from a balcony camera overlooking their International Space Station Flight Control Room. They are in charge, of course, of today's spacewalk, and you'll be hearing through an interpreter throughout the course of today's excursion all of the activities and conversations between the Russian flight director team as well as Ovchinin and Vagner. if you will, or planes of the Zvezda service module, where a number of these experiments are located. They also, again, will be waiting for Gorbanov inside to maneuver the European robotic arm. This is the 37-foot-long robotic arm that was launched with the Naoka Multipurpose Laboratory module in July of 2021. This arm, which is operational, will be used significantly toward the end of the spacewalk today in maneuvering Ovchinin around. This is the first time that a cosmonaut will have had his feet planted on a foot restraint at the end of the robotic arm for operations, most notably to position 6 a.m. Eastern Time. This is a view of the Poisk module. You'll be seeing Ivan Vagner and Alexei Ovchinin in the field of view a short time from now. The protective ring around the circumference of the open hatch has been installed, and the two crew members are in the process of activating cooling systems, while Wagner begins to adapt himself to a spacewalk environment in the early minutes of the first spacewalk of his career.
There's nothing here that's holding you. EV2 has egress. Copy.
And confirmation that Wagner is now outside of the Poisk module. He'll be receiving the X-ray experiment package and what is called an EVA bundle, basically a container of experiments, and that also houses a new connector, a pair of connector patch panels that will be installed on two areas of the Zvezda service module during today's spacewalk. That will precede Ovchinin joining Wagner outside of the Poisk airlock a few moments from now.
Let me release it. Let me remove it. Oh, okay, that's released now. Am I go for sublimator activation? Yes, you're a go for sublimator activation. Put it in position 3 or so.
And just to the left of the Strela boom, the telescoping boom that is used to move personnel and hardware around the Russian segment of the station, you can see the movement of Ivan Wagner, extravehicular crew member number 2, wearing the Orlan suit bearing the blue stripes. He is outside of the airlock, receiving equipment from Ovchinin and setting up tools and tethers before Ovchinin joins him outside in the vacuum of space.
Alexei, can you help me? With what? With the sublimator. Okay.
To begin the installation of what is called a monoblock, basically a package that contains the all-sky monitoring experiment. This is a new payload designed to detect, record, and downlink X-ray celestial sources.
I'm holding the second tether. Okay, I'm taking it out.
And you see that package, that is the monoblock containing that X-ray experiment package.
Is outside. Copy. Okay, let me move closer to the hatch edge. Can you move here and take the second hook there as well? Then I'm going to have to lower this one first. Well, I think you're going to have to egress first, and then we're gonna rearrange the hooks. That's why I wanted to figure out the tethers first.
Могло помешать именно выведению таких.
Well, yes, because it could be an obstacle to you taking this
Если
unit
сразу
out.
выводить, когда укладку пути,
Those tethers, those hooks got first. It's just more difficult to take the bundle out in this config. You're dropping out, so I only have copied what you said, copy.
Так, вывел, зафиксировал.
It is outside. I mean, the hook of bundle 2 it is attached now.
теперь можно выходить.
This is the bundle of connector panels. All right, Alexei, and you're going to proceed with the
Сейчас
other hook.
я второй.
Okay, let me secure the second one. Copy.
У меня сработала температура газа велика.
I got the message that the gas temperature is high. Copy.
Может, сразу на МВМ, Леша, вот цепанешь тогда?
Should you drop it on the MVN unit right away then? Yes, let's go ahead and do that.
Так, и зафиксировал.
All right, it is secured on the MVN monoblock.
Так, и сейчас еще контейнер поближе.
And let me move the container closer and position it here.
This is Mission Control Houston, just over 23 minutes into today's spacewalk. Outside of the Poisk airlock, Ivan Vagner and Alexei Ovchinin are getting all of their hardware set up before they move to the Zvezda service module for the first task on today's docket, which will be the installation of the X-ray experiment package known as a monoblock on one of the workstation areas on the Zvezda module. That Zvezda module, 24 and a half years in operation now, having launched in July of 2000 on a Proton rocket from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Once that package is installed, they will begin work to replace a pair of connector patch panels on two sides of the Zvezda service module. This will involve the demating and remating of a number of connectors. That will be the most time-consuming activity in today's spacewalk that is planned to last about 6 hours and 45 minutes.
Второй контейнер я зафиксировал тут.
Second container was tethered near EV hatch inside, and I'm ready to egress.
Принято, Алексей, выходи, а дальше
Copy.
надо сделать большую паузу.
You are go to egress, and then we'll need to make a pause.
Принято. Что день грядущий мне готовит?
What does the future hold for me?
One hour, 23 minutes into today's spacewalk, Ovchinin and Vagner working at the area of the Zvezda service module
Russell, I
in
can,
preparation
take
for
it
the
from you.
installation
All right.
of the
I'm handing it
package
over.
of X-ray
Standby.
experiment hardware. It is called a monoblock for an experiment named the All-Sky Monitor. The International Space Station is flying over the North Pacific,
I'm holding
soon
it.
to swing just to the north of
Okay,
Vancouver
I have released it.
before it makes a pass across the central United States.
Сейчас расстояние до батареи порядка.
Distance to the array is approximately 1 meter from my legs, so this is nominal now. Copy.
Аня, ты можешь посмотреть на адаптере УРМД?
Could you please check the URMD workstation adapter? Can you see the white markings on it?
Да, видно.
Yes, I was able to see them.
Так. Ну что, я почти до своей каюты дошел.
Well, I have almost reached my crew quarters.
Дальше перестегнуть.
I think you need to swap your tether hook, move it a bit farther,
Лучше, может быть, оставить на этом же самом месте.
and you can leave the boxes in the same location.
Мне все равно потом же вниз идти.
Well, I'm going to have to move down anyways later.
Хватит? Да, длины хватит, не хватит.
And I'm not sure if the length is going to be sufficient or not. So let me swap the long one then.
МВНовский фал тоже.
Same for MVN monoblock tether, because you won't be able to reach it later.
МВНовский здесь. Так, ну что, я
The MVN tether is here.
что-то я там зацепил.
So I feel that I got something tangled up
Это Икарус.
on my leg. This is Icarus.
Припаркован.
This is Icarus that has been parked here.
Ниже спущу.
Let me move down a bit.
Ты что тут за кульбиты крутишь? Что-то меня таскает до неба. Еще чуть-чуть.
It feels like I'm floating right in the sky. So just move a bit more. I'm holding it.
This is Mission Control Houston, 1 hour, 39 minutes into the spacewalk. The view from the helmet camera of Ivan Vagner as you're looking from his perspective at his spacewalking colleague, Alexei Ovchinin, in the process of installing the package that contains the X-ray celestial source detection experiment called the All-Sky Monitor
That's it.
onto a bracket on the Zvezda service module.
Ключом? Да, ключом.
Use the tool to make a half turn, and then you're going to see the tab.
Вань, ты можешь уже не держать МВН.
You don't have to hold the MVN unit anymore, and let's talk about the protective covers. All right, let's do that.
Карабин транспортировочного фала, как говорили, может быть.
Equipment tether hook, as we discussed, can be dropped on the cover, and then we're going to figure out what would be best to remove it on Alexei's side. All right, so let's make sure that this one is fully threaded in. Then I'm going to be able to hold on to it. Yes, here is the ring. And this is the second ring on the bottom. So I guess I'm going to use the top one. All right, it is fully threaded in. This is EV1, Alexei.
This is Mission Control Houston, continuing to take views of the walk in space by Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner, installing the monoblock containing the X-ray celestial source experiment called the All-Sky Monitor. They're checking out all of the connections for this experiment.
Okay, Artem, the tether is now secured, and I'm gonna hand over the tether end to Alexei once he's done with his work.
Так, все, закрутил.
All right, it is fully threaded in, and I'm gonna move the detent down. Yes, make sure that you see the detent tab. This is going to prevent it from spreading out.
That's going to be for number 20. Alexei, one of those. Right here.
Так, вот твой.
All right, here is yours.
Вот. Да, держу.
Got it? Could you please check the markings? Is it the one that we need? HAP3-2M. Copy. Ivan, you can thread it underneath the handrail. Will do.
Сначала отвязать, наверное.
We should probably disconnect it from the...
12 платье с разъемом.
Okay, I'm going to
Да, иди к 12 плат.
panel 12. Right. And you need to get into the cable holder
Будет вот это работать.
and this wire tie, and then tighten it
Тебе, Леш, надо просто
securely.
немного,
And
чтобы
you,
направление кабеля.
Alexei, you need to route the cables carefully so that they don't tangle up. All right, hold on. Let me roll them up a little bit here.
Вот, вот здесь вот, у тебя над головой.
See here, it's above your head now.
От ручки, наверное, не надо отматывать.
We probably do not disconnect it from the ERA handle. No.
Просто он потянет и может из дверки разъем. Что? Из дверки может вырвать разъем.
But you can probably pull it out, the electrical connector from the leer.
А, тот из дверки ты имеешь? Да. Ну ладно, ты проведи, потом это все его подать.
Well, you can thread it for now.
Так, Артем,
Artyom,
вот мягкий поручнем, да? Вот мягкий.
underneath the soft handrail, right?
Чтобы потом в дальнейшем не мешался кабель.
Right, so that the cable is not in the way later.
Так его и под платой надо как-то, да?
I should probably go underneath the
Если получится,
panel too.
максимально так, чтобы
Yes, if possible,
не добавлял лишних трудностей.
so that we don't have any issues later.
Так, ну тогда надо и у Алексея подать, да, и ЭГРС.
All right, and for it should probably be the same for Alexei too, right?
Control Houston, 3 hours, 16 minutes into today's spacewalk by Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner. While they continue their work on the Russian segment of the International Space Station, the NASA crew members on board the complex, Station Commander Sonny Williams and flight engineers Nick Hague, Don Pettit, and Butch Wilmore, are about to wrap up their day's activities, a combination of scientific research, experiment activity, and maintenance aboard the complex before they begin their sleep period a bit later this afternoon.
To make sure that the connector stays in place. So what do you mean?
This is the 83rd day in space for Nick Hague and Alexander Gorbanov, who will be operating the European Robotic Arm later this afternoon in support of today's spacewalk, moving Alexei Ovchinin about into position to jettison discarded items from today's excursion.
It doesn't have to come off. All right, that works. Is it going to be
This is the 198th day in space for Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore, and the 100th day in space now for Don Pettit.
The connector patch panel. Okay, I understand now. Yes, that is no problem at all.
Ovchinin and Vagner launched with Pettit on the Soyuz MS-26 spacecraft back in September from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. They are planning to return to Earth in early April.
Ваня, помаши ручкой.
Vanya, wave your hand to me.
Все, заснял, ладно, давай.
Okay, imagery is
Будем
complete.
заканчивать, да,
Copy.
и Продолжаем
wrap
движение
this up
в
and
сторону четвертой плоскости.
continue moving
Леш, иди
towards
вперед,
plane
возьмешь
4.
укладку с платами. Ваня, ты на третьей плоскости
Alexei, you
себя
go
в эту укладку.
first, and Ivan, when you are on plane 3, please take the bundle. Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. A good view of Ivan Vagner on the left with the Orlan suit bearing the blue stripes, and on the right, Alexei Ovchinin wearing the suit with the red stripes. The two are going to be working in concert with each other to move a bundle of items that will be discarded later in the EVA to a location where it will be temporarily parked. There are other items to be added to this bundle that will be jettisoned by Ovchinin with his feet planted at the end of the European robotic arm that is attached to the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module on the Earth-facing side of the International Space Station's Russian segment. Mixed in to that conversation, Russian flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center outside of Moscow had a brief chat with Alexander Gorbanov, who's inside the complex and who will be operating the European robotic arm a little bit later to maneuver Ovchinin to the jettisoning position. That bundle of discarded items will be jettisoned aft of the station, ensuring that there's no potential for recontact with the complex. The European robotic arm that was launched with the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module in July of 2021 has a reach of 32 feet in length, the arm itself 37 feet from tip to tip. Ovchinin will move into a foot restraint at the end of the robotic arm that has two end effectors, very much like the Canadarm2 does on the U.S. segment of the International Space Station.
Я фиксирующие платы могу уже оба карабина на себя, правильно?
So I can secure both tethers to myself, right? That's right.
Нас через 7 минут наступит день.
We have sunset in 7 minutes. Copy.
Так, все, отснял.
Okay, I took some
Принято,
images.
спасибо, Вань.
Copy. Thank you very much, Vanya.
Так, Леш, что помогать тебе?
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. As you heard through the interpreter, flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov outside of Moscow informing Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner that they have now passed the 4-hour mark into today's spacewalk, the third spacewalk out of the International Space Station this year. The two cosmonauts are wrapping up work in the replacement of connector patch panels at two locations on the Zvezda service module.
Yes.
The old connector patch panels are being
Number 6.
placed in a
And
bundle
number
and
5
temporarily
is
stowed.
not
They will be
powered,
discarded
just
and
as
jettisoned by
the
Alexei Ovchinin
number
later
4
in
is
today's
not powered.
spacewalk. Once this activity is complete, the two cosmonauts will be returning to the Poisk module to take out containers. Those containers will be used to stow a couple of exposure experiments, one called Vinaslavast, the other called Indicator. These are experiments that have been exposed to the environment of space to measure the effect of space and radiation on materials science samples, as well as biological samples over the course of time. They will be returned inside the International Space Station and later returned to Earth aboard a Soyuz vehicle for study by engineers and scientists on the ground.
А вы не можете скрины из камеры делать?
Is it possible for you to just take screenshots from the camera, Ivan? Your camera is off.
Несколько секунд будут исключать. У нас Хека имеет тепловые ограничения.
And Alexei's is going to be off in just a few seconds because we are approaching temperature limits.
Can you check a bit the area a bit to the right and down?
Тоже не вижу.
I do not see it.
Слева.
Actually, it is on the left, under your feet.
Так, Артем, я складываю, да?
Artem, am I going to fold it? Yes, Ivan, you can fold it. Fold it first,
Страхуем и снимать уже начинаем.
and then you're going to have to tether it, and then you'll start the removal. So for me to fold it, I need to
И он еще
undo the
пружиненный такой.
wind knob. Yes, that's correct, and it is slightly spring-loaded as well.
Да, принято.
Inaudible copy.
Алексей,
Alexei?
Да.
Yes.
специалисты просят уточнить, требуется ли
specialist
еще
are
ручное выравнивание или
asking
такое положение
if any more
себя пока устраивает.
annual manual adjustment is needed or
Я думаю, что не требует.
the current position is good.
Положение
I think
хорошее.
that no adjustment is needed, and I think that this position is good. Copy.
Тогда продолжаем.
The two cosmonauts in the vicinity of the Poisk module that you see at the bottom of your screen.
Copy.
Ovchinin confirming to the Russian flight controllers that he likes the positioning of the European robotic arm.
I'm going to draw them.
He'll be climbing aboard the arm a short time from now.
Нам еще понадобится.
Так, две стойки снял.
I removed 2 posts.
Осталось одна.
One left.
Труп Москвы. Второму оператору.
Moscow, EV2, go ahead.
На связи.
Go ahead, Ivan.
Снял.
I removed
Сейчас буду.
the hardware and I'm starting movement towards Alexei. How copy?
Принято.
Copy.
Так, а я заснял видео по
And I took a video of the ERA-Arm. Copy. Thank you, Alexei.
Copy.
As Ovchinin is conducting that jettisoning work from the end of the European robotic arm, the first time that a crew member has been at the end of the arm, Ivan Vagner will be gathering exposure units and payload panels that are going back inside the hoist module at the end of today's spacewalk.
Так, один шаг у нас 5 сантиметров, правильно? Значит, 4 сантиметра. Плюс Y можешь нажать, ты сейчас выберешь. То есть один раз шаг, 5 сантиметров, судить 4 раза. Принято, сейчас тогда скажу, что...
ERA movement confirmed.
Я не вижу движения.
I don't see anything.
Что с ним?
Алексей, Иван, как слышно?
Alexei, Ivan, how copy?
Сейчас начнется движение. 4 раза по 5 сантиметров.
All right. The movement is about to start.
Да, наблюдаю движение.
Movement confirmed in the correct direction. Copy.
Может быть, 3 раза все-таки, а? Не 4.
Maybe 3 times, not 4.
Третий скажем.
Well, 2 more is for sure, and then we'll let you know.
Через 1,5 минуты будет тень.
Just wanted to let you know that there will be
Принято.
sunset in 1.5 minutes.
Еще 2 раза. Мне кажется, 1.
2 more times.
2 шага сделал, следующий.
2 steps. I've already done 2. Okay, do 2 more.
Так. Тут вот штука.
Okay, what is this thing here?
Распрямляться должна.
That should straighten out
Невесомость.
in weightlessness.
Какая штука?
Please repeat your last. What are you talking about, Ivan?
Да я забыл, как называется. Пластик какой-то.
Forgot what it's called.
Еще раз, углепластик, плохо слышно.
Please repeat your last. Is it the carbon composite material? That
ТККМ.
what is it? Oh, do you mean TKKM? I guess that's what it is.
Сама еще помещение нужно прописано.
This is Mission Control Houston, just beyond the 6-hour mark into today's spacewalk. A great view of Alexei Ovchinin at the end of the European robotic arm.
We don't need it.
The station flying over eastern Mongolia at an altitude of 260 statute miles.
Алексей,
Alexei,
самочувствие.
how are you feeling?
Замечательно.
Fantastic.
Впечатление.
So, what do you think about it?
Впечатления отличные.
I think everything is great. Copy.
Алексей, и просто
Alexei,
у тебя минут через 5
for your information,
появится надпись «Патрон ограничен». Это нормально?
you're gonna have a message.
Ну что, я готов.
Well, I'm ready.
Принято.
This is EV1. Copy, and you go for jettison. Here it goes, it's floating away. Copy, and it's going away nicely. Yes, not bad.
Вешай фал транспортировочный.
Alex, see, is attack.
And flight controllers reporting a good jettisoning by Alexei Ovchinin at 3:49 p.m. Central Time, 4:49 p.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station flew 260 miles over the Pacific Ocean.
You can do that, and you don't have to turn it off.
За вторым мешком.
That bundle that was cast away by Ovchinin contained a boom from a gas analyzing experiment, 4 old connector patch panels that were replaced with new panels earlier in today's spacewalk, and 2 covers for an X-ray detection experiment that was also installed on the Zvezda service module earlier today.
Дальше мы выполняем. Красиво укладка на фоне Земли смотрится.
While the bond.
This is Mission Control Houston, 6 hours, 16 minutes into today's spacewalk. A good view of Alexei Ovchinin at the end of the European Robotic Arm.
I can see that the arm is in motion.
3 minutes ago, he jettisoned a bundle of discarded items from today's spacewalk that saw the 2 cosmonauts complete a variety of tasks, including the installation of a container with a new X-ray detection experiment that was installed on the Zvezda service module, the removal of 4 connector patch panels from 2 work sites on the Zvezda, and the replacement of those connector patch panels with 4 new similar panels, the removal of exposure units for a series of different material science and biological sample experiments, and the ultimate jettisoning of a bundle of those discarded items by Ovchinin just a few minutes ago. The one task that was deferred to a future spacewalk, not a critical activity, was the planned relocation of an external control panel for the European Robotic Arm, but that external panel would only be used for a very small sample of Russian spacewalks to be conducted in the future. Today's European Robotic Arm operations were conducted, as most will be, from a control panel inside the Russian segment. Today's robotic arm operator was Alexander Gorbanov.
Нет, что с каждым поручнем, приближающимся к люку,
I have a feeling that your voices become more and more excited, they sound more and more excited the closer you are to your destination with each handrail that you pass. Well, we still have a few things to do. We're going to take the towels to, no, we're going to jettison the towels along with our towels that you're going to use to wipe your suit.
Мы будем использовать полотенце с крылок-бэга.
Are we going to use the crew lock bag towels? Correct. Those first, but actually whatever works best for you.
Да, с крылок-бэга.
Yes, crew lock bag towels.
Ты ведь уже наблюдаешь Ивана, да?
Alexei,
Выходит из-за угла.
can you see Ivan?
Я уже давно его наблюдаю, снимаю.
Yes, I am watching him. I'm also filming him. Copy.
Вань,
Ivan, go ahead.
мы скоро подойдем к ПХО.
We're going to move towards the house soon.
Требуется ли ручное выравнивание ERA?
And you'll have to estimate if any manual ear adjustments are needed or not.
Так что сейчас пока заведи укладку.
So for now,
Заведи укладку с тестом пока внутрь.
take the test
Контейнер.
experiment kit in
Выведи наружу.
for now, and the container should be taken outside, but do not move too far.
Так а в такую же позицию, как я заходил.
Well, I'm going to be in the same position
Да, мы в нее и собираемся привести в те же
as
самые координаты.
the position for
Мало ли вдруг.
ingress. Yes, we're going to use the same coordinates.
With his job complete, Alexei Ovchinin now getting out of the foot restraint at the end of the European robotic arm, which will be commanded by Alexander Gorbanov inside the Russian segment to be repositioned in its original configuration by the Naoka multi-purpose laboratory module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station.
And выносливость.
Meanwhile, Ivan Vagner continues to stow a bundle of test samples removed from the vicinity of the Poisk module inside the airlock of Poisk. Presumably, the two cosmonauts will begin to clean up and take inventory of their tools a short time from now as they prepare to wrap up today's spacewalk.
Потому что сейчас уже можно будет резервный отсек готовить, он Алексей уже выходит из строя. Да, нет, сейчас уже не нужно, да, сейчас нету никакого. Сейчас я сюда.
Все хорошо.
This is Mission Control Houston. We have hit the 7-hour mark in today's spacewalk. The final task was Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner jettisoning 2 towels that they used to wipe down each other's suits. This is standard practice and procedure at the end of a spacewalk to ensure that no contaminants are brought back inside the Poisk airlock.
I can use only one tether inside, right?
All of the tasks for today's excursion were completed except for one. The 2 cosmonauts installed a payload named the All-Sky Monitor on the Zvezda service module to detect, record, and downlink X-ray celestial sources. They removed and replaced a quartet of connector patch panels at 2 work sites on the Zvezda service module, removed exposure panels of biological materials and other material samples from experiments on the outside of the Poisk module. And Alexei Ovchinin planted his feet in a foot restraint at the end of the European Robotic Arm, and Alexander Gorbanov maneuvered him from a control panel inside the Russian segment to an area aft of the station, where he jettisoned a bundle of discarded items that were removed from locations during today's spacewalk. That all went by the book. The only task that was not accomplished was the relocation of a control panel for the European Robotic Arm at the base of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module. That was not a critical task and is rarely scheduled to be used during Russian spacewalks. Instead, most spacewalk operations involving the European Robotic Arm will be operated from inside the Russian segment by another cosmonaut. This is Mission Control Houston. Once again, today's spacewalk concluded just a few minutes ago at 4:53 p.m. Central Time, 5:53 p.m. Eastern Time, with an elapsed time of today's spacewalk by Alexei Ovchinin and Ivan Vagner, 7 hours, 17 minutes. This was the 272nd spacewalk in support of station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades, the third out of the station this year, and the first for Expedition 72. This was the second spacewalk of Ovchinin's career. He now has totaled 13 hours, 18 minutes of spacewalking time. And for Wagner, his first spacewalk, 7 hours, 17 minutes. The 272 spacewalks in support of station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades have now totaled 1,723 hours and 13 minutes of spacewalking time, which is the equivalent of 71 days, 19 hours, and 13 minutes. So with the repressurization of the Poisk airlock continuing in good shape, we'll wrap up our coverage with a quick recap. The two cosmonauts began their spacewalk this morning at 9:36 a.m. Central Time, 10:36 a.m. Eastern Time. They installed a package of experiments on the outside of the Zvezda service module to detect, record, and downlink X-ray celestial sources. The two cosmonauts then pressed ahead along two work sites on the Zvezda service module to remove and replace a quartet of connector patch panels, brand new ones having been installed on Zvezda. They also removed, during the course of the spacewalk, several packages of exposure experiments, both material science and biological sample experiments that were housed on the outside of the Poisk module. And Alexei Ovchinin, riding at the end of the European Robotic Arm that was operated from inside the station by Alexander Gorbanov, jettisoned a bundle of the discarded items from today's spacewalk. The only item that the two cosmonauts did not get to because of time constraints was the relocation of a control panel at the base of the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module that was not a critical item. It will be deferred to another spacewalk downstream for the Russian cosmonauts.